Hello, great to have you join us again for your favorite program. That is Close Flow, coming to you from NTA2 Lagos Network Center. We are delighted to be sure that you are there, waiting patiently so that we can again unravel yet another distinguished Nigerian who is going to be sharing with us some perceptions about how our nation can become or can actually take its place globally. Nigeria today, we know we're about 204 million people, and that makes Nigeria one of the most populous black nation on earth, and the 7th most populous country in the world. At over 60 years, we can say that since independence, Nigeria, some statistics about Nigeria actually are not showing us some very good reports. So we're going to be looking at some of those issues. With our guests today, we have 13 million out of school children. That is the highest in the world. We have, that's according to UNICEF, we have also the lowest literacy rate in the world. Again. Now, Nigeria is also expected to produce at least 5 million jobs every year for the next decade if you're going to remain a nation, if you are going to remain untroubled nation. So these are some of the issues we're going to be looking at, as the country now gets ready to step into the future. And that future is what this conversation is about, as our guests will be speaking to us about, what we have said here, that how can Nigeria therefore be strengthened through national unity? Can we unite the people who make up this country along the river Niger and the river Benue, that we can become strong enough to take our place in the global space? That is that conversation we're going to be having with our distinguished guest today, who incidentally is the National Publicity Secretary of the Pentecostal Federation of Nigeria. We are going to meet him shortly, so just stay with us and then we'll get to see him.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel. Live more. Hey beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight.
Now reading page 3.
Experience unlimited super-fast internet access from Entel 4G. Entel.
Thank you for staying with us. Like I said, before we went for that break, our guest, incidentally, is a graduate of banking and finance from the University of Calabar. That tells you a little bit that we are dealing with finances here. We are dealing with economics. We are dealing with, we'll get to the details. Incidentally, he's also an alumnus of the Ministry Training Institute. That's in Malaysia. That's about gospel preaching. So he has a combined honor now. He's an economist. He's a financial expert. He's also a pastor. So my pleasure to welcome on your behalf onto Close Flow a regular, almost a house member, actually, on this show, and that's Bishop Dr. Emmah Isong. You're welcome to Close Flow.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you so much.
To be back here again.
To be back here.
Great. Now, so being back here again will mean that let's quickly take the hood off, so everybody can see exactly what we are dealing with here. You are a man of God. You are also a teacher. You are also a financial expert. So looking at the Nigerian, if you look at Nigeria now, the topography where we are today, both politically and economically, do you see a future for Nigeria?
A future for Nigeria, yes, if we put things right and put ours in order. There were nations who had worse history than us, and
There are nations
who
with
had
worse history than
us, even
where we are today now.
politically, financially, whatever. And
Yet they survived.
how about even Ghana, our neighbor? There was time Ghanaians were all over in Nigeria looking for jobs, doing artisan jobs, some
Menial
jobs. And today they may not be where they want to be,
But
I think the buck stops at leadership. If we can put our hands together and present good leadership, Nigeria is not lacking material, both physical material or human resources. We have enough, abundant of everything. You just mentioned the population.
yes,
China, the secret of China was not mineral resources, it was population. They held to the secret of using their population. Their means of production. Population is a means of production.
I like that.
Yeah, so you can use it to your advantage. It's a double-edged sword. It can cut for you
Or it can kill
against
you.
you.
Yes.
So Nigeria, great future for Nigeria if we take serious. If we don't make this kind of discussion academic exercise, because
that.
there
I
are
like
many
that.
discussions like this in Parliament, on television, and everywhere. Is somebody taking down notes? Is somebody listening to us? Is somebody ready to implement what we are discussing? We have brain drain and capital flight in this country. We should just be serious for the first time, knowing that we are in a problem time.
Yes,
We should be
that,
more serious.
it is that problematic time that we are looking at now, because the new feature that we are dealing with here, we are probably going to be in need of literate minds to deal with this new future, this digital age that we are dealing with. And because of the post-pandemic, a lot of questions now are on the table. So do we have the right orientation for Nigerians, like you said, to take that leadership role that can make this country to be what this country should be?
Back to education. Our education should come out from just being certificated institutions to being modern skilled training institutions. I'm thinking of tertiary institutions or educational institutions that people are not only educated, empowered, trained to be creative, to be productive. Right now, we are rolling out hundreds and millions of graduates who are looking for jobs. They should be rolling out millions of graduates who are creating
jobs, not looking for jobs.
I'm a banker by profession and education, but I'm not eating from banking. I'm taking care of my family, not from banking. So people should rely on skills, should develop skills. So the certificate in your left hand, for instance, certificate in biochemistry, degree in medicine, bed
on your right hand.
Your right hand should be skills and empowerment. We should just go back to the background of our educational system and change. Something is wrong there. We are feeding the children with wrong meals and expecting them to grow in the right way. It's not proper.
Okay, well, so we have an issue already with the children, because exactly what the world bodies are saying is that in Africa, particularly Nigeria, if you're not careful, that we have about 13 million children who are not in school.
Yes.
And that's the highest in the world.
Yes.
According to UNICEF.
A big time bomb for anybody to hear that, because these children will grow up tomorrow to become what? So we must think of that. Somebody made a statement some years ago. He said the children we fail to educate today will become our headache tomorrow. And if you have that
please
number,
can you help us say that again?
So that children,
yes,
the children that we fail
to educate
today will grow up, because they're going to surely grow up to become our headaches tomorrow. They'll be the ones that will visit us as armed robbers. They'll be the ones to visit us as militants. They'll be the one to stay in the creeks on the streets to attack our own children that we educated. So there's something about social technology. We must take cognizance that our neighbor, just like the Bible says, love your neighbor. See, the Bible was not saying love your neighbor because your neighbor is too wonderful, but because if you don't love your neighbor, you're going to grow in a neighborhood that will be threatening to your existence. And that's what we're having today. We have big cars, we don't have roads to drive them. We have big houses, we are afraid of who lives behind us and who would knock the door. So it is important that we just don't make lip services about the welfare of children. Somebody also said, he said, until the child of the rich be able to school together with the child of the poor, we've not bridged the social gap. We must be able to provide, we should institutionalize our services. For instance, my children should go to school and meet the children of a poor neighbor, and there must be that level playing ground for competition. Right now what we're having is those who privileges go to private schools, pay a lot of millions, and then the other one goes to some public school and is not able to come to the same level. We should provide, that's the purpose of government, provide an enabling environment for people to thrive. And that, basically, education should be free. In a country that other things are free and political appointees are living large, the education should be free to a basic level for everybody.
Okay, well, another study has said to us that Nigeria lacks national cohesion necessary to facilitate good governance and sustainable development. Is that a valid observation?
Those are theoretical facts. Let me give you some.
But if you are going to break it down now,
those are theories people build up on the media. Let me give you the shock of your life. If you go to the street now, you see Nigerian Igbos, Yorubas, Hausas, Akwa Ibom, and
mingling.
Go to the bar where they are drinking. So go to the street, go to the churches, go to the mosque, go to football field. You see a Benue man pass the ball to an Igbo man, and they score. So something basically is wrong somewhere. Most dividing lines in our social, that threatens our social coexistence, are politically motivated. I am very sorry to keep pushing things to the political class. Even most of the tensions in the country today, including terrorist actions, are politically motivated. We may have to change our body politic, we may have to change our system of administration, or maybe we have to change the way people rise to become political appointees, because that is what causes the heat in the kitchen. That is what causes the heat. Basically, Nigerians, if you go to busy street now, even where cyclists are talking, they are eating together now. They're eating amala together. They're together. And people don't ask people where they come from. As soon as political office or presidency and governorship or something is about to, you hear them start talking about where are you from. Those languages emanate from the political institutions.
Now, so how do we, Bishop, you're going to help us here. So how do we juxtapose this? So we have the elites on one side of the coin.
You're correct.
Yes, then you have the political whatever again. So how do we get them to see that the entire country will need to move ahead and remove all these political undertones in all the things we're dealing with? How do we get to...
Many of our political leaders did not come through the rank and files of the society. Many of our governors, our parliamentarians, our appointees, our ministers are not imposed to the people. Yes. They are not product. Anybody can argue this. They are not product of the society. They are thrown up by some godfathers, and then
imposed on the people.
Imposed on the people. They are not from the people. You know what is democracy? Government of the people, yes. From the people, for the people, by the people. That English does not apply to Nigerian politics. They are not from the people. They are not for the people. They are not by the people. That is why there are a lot of court cases after one small local government election. To show you that people on top, if we had leaders we throw up there, I can tell you, where the leader goes, the people go there. There'll be reduction in social tension if leaders came from the ranks and files of the people.
Okay, let's throw this back again, because this is like we have to do a recap. Now, so where are we saying, so participatory democracy, we don't have it in Nigeria, that's what you're saying?
Please, from the primaries to the general elections, it is zero. I don't even think the people we voted are the people ruling us now, at all levels. I say the truth, and I say the truth from many Nigerians. You don't even have to be a good candidate in Nigerian election. If you are too good, they will not
vote for you.
They will not.
Yes.
I have a case somewhere in one of the states that the candidate was too intelligent, and that's how they reject. They told him, you are too intelligent, and you are too independent because you are intelligent, and you are too visionary, and your eyes have opened. You've stayed abroad for many years. We cannot put you there. We need someone we can control. That is why there is always friction between the political godfathers and the godsons when they are in power. So resources of state are not used to develop the economy, to develop the society. They are used to pacify and gratify the personal aggrandizement of the movers and shakers, the rulers and leaders of this political class. Until that is solved,
yes,
we are just living a pseudo democratic dispensation. I'm sorry to say that.
Now, but Bishop, because you're a man of faith, so the faith factor in all this now, how can that change the narrative for us? Can we employ the faith factor to change the narrative? Because right now it's like it's doomsday.
Let me teach you something about faith. If you give me rice and beans and onions and all the condiments, and I pray and fast for 10 days for it to be cooked, it will not be cooked. I will die of hunger. Faith must have works. What makes faith is the works, and that's what we call on faith-based organizations, to bring their ideology, bring your narrative, bring your values into bear during elections. Many, let me speak for Christians. Many Christians are sleeping during elections. They don't even vote. They don't register. They don't have cards. And if you as a bishop want to contribute, want to participate, want to ask questions about who is ruling you, even your people, your constituency will say, but you are a pastor. And I said, I'm a pastor, but I need to know who is ruling me. And Nigerians don't know that after you voted somebody into power, you need to monitor him, and you need to ask questions. There's Freedom of Information Bill.
Yes.
You can demand to know the budget of your senatorial district. You can demand to know how it was expended. And Nigerians don't even know. In fact, as soon as elections are over, the political elected people go to church or mosque and do thanksgiving, and that ends election. A governor can be removed. A president can be removed. A House of Assembly member can be removed.
Yes.
Can be recalled. But Nigerians don't care about that. There is this religion now about politics. Politics has become one of the religion. I mean, it's now Christianity, atheism, and Islamism, and politics is now a religion. People are directly worshipped. We bow before our political fathers. They can be questioned. They can be removed. You do not wait for the next election for a president or a governor or any person to be removed. There are constitutional provisions in the law of Nigeria for anybody who does not perform to be removed. But yet it looks like sacrilege. If we talk about impeachment, recalling, it's like sacrilege. People come to your house and beg, like if it's his father's house or his mother's property. So Nigerians we need to be educated in the area of democracy. I think democracy is strange to African system because we are not practicing the real democracy. This is not the democracy that's practiced abroad. This is not the democracy. People win election and change their phone numbers, and they don't go for town hall meetings. In fact, let me give you a simple example. A simple example. Many governors come into power, for instance, and announce the project and announce the vision. We are not to announce the project. You are to consult from all the wards and constituencies and know what their needs are. You don't come and tar road in my constituency when our basic need is not road. You don't bring an industry to my constituency when that's not our basic need. Some industries are sited thousands of miles, hundreds of miles away from the raw material just because one big vice president or one big man in the National Assembly is from that village. And so our people are not practicing true democracy. We're not asking questions. We're not bringing our leaders to book. We're not holding them accountable. And that is really worrisome in what's supposed to be democracy.
Well, okay, one other observation that we have that you need to help us look at, because we are trying to say to ourselves that we need to strengthen the country. We need to look at how Nigeria can become great in these new futures we are dealing with. But in strengthening the country, we need to unite our people. But people, people keep referring to the fact that ethnic bigotry is another major issue. Okay, so we have dealt with the faith factor, but people are saying that the entrenched ethnic interest may not actually let Nigeria become as strong as it should be.
Well, we've always gotten it wrong when it comes to ethnicity. God bless Nigeria with hundreds of ethnic nationalities.
Over 400
ethnic nationalities and hundreds of languages, and so therefore traditions in the different geographical locations of Nigeria, like Cross River where I stay. There are villages in Cross River. The women speak different language from the men in the same village. Yeah, different language from the men in Cross River State. Wow. And there are some states in Niger Delta where they have lots of languages, almost from local government to local government. People don't know. When you say Cross River, people think it's just one language. No, Cross River has almost the multiplicity of languages and ethnic group. What I'm trying to say is that
we should look at those things as blessings.
Our different nationalities and ethnicities are supposed to be color. What makes a flower beautiful is the differentialities of the petals. Blue, yellow, red, green. In fact, the more multiple colors a flower has, the more beautiful. You cannot just have one color. It's supposed to be a beautiful experience for us as a people. I have something I can even tell you that discrimination is part of things that made ethnicity not to be attractive. When I was coming here, I saw on the billboard Wazobia. That word Wazobia should be removed from our common television day to day. It's painful. Do you know that by Wazobia, you are saying there are 3 language groups in Nigeria?
Which is not true.
Which is not true. You are insulting the Idomas. You are insulting the Efiks. You are insulting the Ijos. You are insulting Wazobia. You just pick 3 of the 400 and something language groups. So for instance, you and I, we infringe on that. We offend people when we come on TV and said Wazobia. So by Wazobia,
so all the others are not part of the country.
They get offended. I'm telling you, I get offended when I hear Wazobia, because my language is not among the Wa or Zo or the Bia. So you see, there is no way we can satisfy people than to begin to tell Nigerians that your language and tribe is supposed to be pride. So you see me as an Efik man or Ibibio man or the Anang man, you must see me and love me just like I love you, like a Yoruba man.
Yes.
Admire you
man or whatever.
Or I like what you wear.
Yes.
So there are many ways to encourage integration in Nigeria. Remember, we've tried many things that is trying to work. Some didn't work. we brought in the federal character
Yes.
in our daily living.
Yes.
But is the federal character working?
No.
Because somebody will make 40 appointments and only 2 will come from the east. And we're still watching. People are getting angry.
Yes.
Let me tell you, what offends people most is to infringe their religion and their nationality. It is the highest offense you can commit. In fact, religion, people laugh if you infringe on their religion. But people don't laugh if you said something about their tribe. People don't laugh again with you. They can even laugh on religion. They can say, well, God says I should forgive you. But when you infringe, when you abuse him, when you abuse a Yoruba man, when you abuse an Igbo man, when you abuse a Calabar man or a Hausa or Fulani man, the real him comes out.
Yes,
people can die on top of their tribe. So Nigeria should look into, if we said there is federal character.
Yes.
How about when we were employing people into immigration, into the police force? You had the scandal. Somebody would bring everybody from his village, and some villages don't even know this. Such recruitment taking place. We should look into, we brought in NYC.
Yes.
But a lot of people know that there are some places in this country, they cannot post you on NYC too. You will not allow your children to go there. So we must look back. I thought of something. I said, why not the federal government bring a law imposed on all states that every state in Yoruba land should learn Calabar language in primary school.
And Igbo.
And every state in Calabar should learn Yoruba language. By the time, my wife speaks all the languages of the major languages. My wife speaks Rivers language, she speaks Cross River language, Efik, she speaks Hausa, she speaks Yoruba fluently more than you. She speaks Igbo, she was born in Nkwere in Imo State. And she speaks English and French to water all these things. So you can see that the church I run, that a Yoruba man is comfortable. We can do that nationally. We can say that every child, every Fulani child from primary school should learn
Igbo and
Yoruba. Should learn 1 or 2 languages, which is not your major language. The fathers of faith you are showing on TV now. I saw you showing the fathers of faith. I saw you showing Amadu Bello. I saw you showing. Can I shock you? People like Zeke spoke Hausa than most Hausa people. Some of those people you showed now on TV spoke other languages
besides their own.
Yes, Bola Ige.
Yes,
the late Bola Ige.
Yes,
spoke almost all the Nigerian languages, and that made him a nationalist. Most of them who didn't speak those languages married women from other tribes. There are many heads of states whom you see transversing across this country. They married women from the other tribe. Religious and tribal bigotry is from some myopic politicians who don't even want to care about where somebody comes from. And these actions of theirs are very offensive to other Nigerians.
Okay, well, it's very exciting hearing from Bishop, so let's quickly get our viewers to be part of the conversation. Please, the number to call, if you're calling, please, that is for voice call, for voice message, the number to call is 080-5975-3044, 080-5975-3044. That is for your voice call or voice message or voice interaction. But if you want to do your SMS, just in case the network is not friendly with you, or it's not friendly for where you are, please try and send us a text message quickly so we can ask a bishop to respond to your query or to your questions. And the number for that text message is 080-6350-8434. 080-6350-8434. Please join the conversation and let's make the excitement remain here. Now, there is also this emerging culture of selective political representation rather than elective, which is what you have just said. That's okay. So now they impose.
It's very common all across the country. Like I said, the bane of our political landscape is best that the people ruling us now, from federal to local government, will impose on the electors, and so therefore they do not have the impulse and the feeling of the people. Some leaders don't even come out when there's a riot in their state. Some leaders don't address the nation when youths are rioting. What would make political leaders not come out to the street? Some of them are not even free to pass on the road. If we put you there, why are you afraid to
come out? Yes.
You see, that's a big question. If we put you there, why are you afraid to come to us, talk to us? What is frightening you? We put you there. So to narrow the gap between the elected and the electorate, we must make sure that future leaders, emerging leaders, come through the rank and file of the system. They must be thrown up by the system. What is a leader? A leader is someone, if he moves and people follow. If you're a leader
and people are not following,
you are taking a stroll. Yes. Anyone that's a leader and start moving and nobody follows, taking a stroll, you are strolling. And that's the joy of a king, is the host of his followers.
All right, so we are going to be looking for the joy of the king amongst our Nigerian leaders. That's what Bishop Isong is saying here. You're going to be with us. We just want to take a breather. But don't forget again, the numbers, we have 2 dedicated lines. One for voice message and the other one for text, for SMS. Now, the voice message is a voice number, voice message for a voice call is 080-5975-3044. 080-5975-3044. Make your voice call to that line. If you're not getting through on that line and you still want to be part of the conversation, then send us a text message on 080-6350-8434. 080-6350-8434. Let us have your text messages. Don't send text message to the voice and don't call the one, because there are 2 dedicated lines already. Thank you very much. So we'll be back shortly. Bishop is still here. We'll just take a breather and we continue.
We must dilate the eyes. We look for if they have cataract, we look at the back of their eyes. They have glaucoma. You know, we do a full workup for them.
A lot of our government should actually open their eyes, especially southwest of the state.
When we're looking deeper than we ever looked in before, to ensure that we close all the loopholes.
It manifests as physical symptoms. And every edition is an arresting conversation with distinguished Nigerians from various strata of the society, bearing their minds on how we can realize the Nigeria of our dreams. Join us live on Close Flow, Monday, every week here on NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Close Flow. The conversation is about you.
Thank you for staying with us. You're still on to Close Flow. I see our Bishop Isong in the house. He's been very forthright, letting us see where and how Nigeria can actually become a giant that the nation should be. Now, we have spoken about some of the elements, some of the factors which may not be positive right now in the country. Now, let's look at the media, for instance. Do we have rights? A push there. That's a call coming in. But let's look at the media in Nigeria. Let's first look at the traditional media and then the emergence of social media. So, do you think the media is playing the role that will help the country to actually assume?
Yeah, the media is like a weapon. Like I said, when the knife enters the hand of a murderer, he commits murder. But when the same knife enters the hand of a surgeon, he saves a life. Same knife. So the media is a double-edged sword. I'm the national patron of NUJ South. I'm sure you know that.
Yes.
And I deal with journalists all the time. And I must first of all commend both print, electronic, and the new generation, the online media, for helping disseminate proper information, coverage, reportage of whatever is happening. But are the journalists, are they well fed enough? to confront bad governance? Are you well fed enough? If you come to my house, I'm a senator, you want to come and do investigative journalism, you want to find out what I've done for my constituency. If I drop 1 million in your boot,
the story will change. The questions will change.
Would you still be able to confront me, challenge me, and said repent or change your ways? So is an average journalist, is he insured? Does he have housing scheme? Is he able to pay the children? You, with all respect, do a program now, call journalists up to 100 to come into this room. You look at them head to toe, you know that some of them are struggling to make
survive.
Even the employers who are supposed to be owners of some of the industries these journalists work, they say he who pays the piper dictates the tone. There are some message, there are some report you send to your office, head office, they will not fly. It will not fly because some of these corrupt politicians have perfected their skills. They know what to do. I mean, they know what to drop at which station and at which media house, and your news will not fly. So you'll be making noise there on your little street. Even when it's a light program, it can be edited, can be omitted, can be twisted. So we should not talk about the integrity and the paramount role the journalists play as a fourth estate of the realm, without talking about the welfare packages of an average journalist. Has he even eaten since morning? The person that is going to challenge the Minister of Health, for instance, on the use of COVID-19 money, has he eaten? Has he paid his children's school fees? Or else he will arrive there and come back like a defeated soldier. So we should look into that, and we'll develop journalism not just as a profession, make those the handlers of the profession to be well catered for. Make laws that will make an employer have a minimum pay on a journalist. Make sure a presenter like you can throw any question on Bishop Emmah Isong without any favor, because you know if he finishes and walk away, you are able to still go back home and live the average modest life you should live with your family. That is the aspect we should handle journalism if we want them to be part of the system that change this country, that rebirth this country. Because the Bible says, like in Psalm 68 verse 11, I'm a pastor, it says the Lord get the word, and great with the multitude of those who publish it. Anything can go on at any place, but who disseminates that information? Who packages that information? Because the people down here are only taking what we throw to them, and journalists are the only one who can tell us what is happening. Many big cases handled by EFCC today were cases already reported by journalists, and so we see their roles are very important. They are very paramount in a democratic system. Freedom of information. Yes. Are we still flying? There are a lot of decrees or laws coming up in the parliament to infringe on those rights of Nigerians to know and to ask questions. How do we do about that law? We should not only talk about the journalist, how about laws in guarding his environment?
How it functions.
How it functions within the framework of those rules and laws.
Okay, again, that is letting us know that there is a great future for us if you know exactly what we are doing. I'd like to again invite our viewers. Please, the lines are open now for you to be part of this. But I've said, let me just repeat the numbers again so you can get them right. Maybe you have a biro and a paper. For your voice call, that is, you want to talk to us on phone, call 080-5975-3044. 080-5975-3044. If you cannot get through, send a text message. Simple thing, just send your question, SMS, and that number is 080-6350-8434. 080-6350-8434. Just send us a text message so Bishop can also add. I think a call is trying to come in or what? We missed the call there. Okay, if you cannot get through, please just send a text message. Bishop will respond to your query. Now let's move on now. Now for all of us, we have so much at stake now. Many of us are growing. and the children are now, they're coming onto the scene. So, what is the future? What for your own children, for instance, what future do you see?
That's one of the coming. We have a future for our children and children's children.
Yes.
Greatest question you've ever asked. We are not bothered about what is happening in our nation today. We are bothered about the future we will leave for our children. Future in many senses. We're talking about a secured future, a prosperous future,
yes,
a united future. Why are many Nigerian children of our Nigerian leaders school abroad? You have to answer that question. Why are many Nigerian leaders taking their medical trip abroad? You have to answer that question. Recently, why are many children of billionaires and rich people in Nigeria doing their weddings in Dubai and London? They are not even wedding in Lagos again. There's no wedding in Lagos now. Weddings are in Dubai. Are you aware? Weddings are in London. Why is it that we are afraid to lie down and let a doctor from Nigeria treat us
in Nigeria?
What are we afraid of? Why are we afraid to drop our children at Obalande to attend one of the schools and come out and we be proud to call them our children? Something therefore is wrong. Because as you lay your bed, so you lie on it. We cannot pretend anymore. We can make Nigeria a better place. For us today, we may not enjoy all the paraphernalia and the infrastructure of this El Dorado nation you and I are dreaming of, but we can lay the foundation
for that nation to emerge.
For that nation to emerge. For instance, let's just pick one because your question is very wide. Let's pick corruption, for instance. I want to say that it will be difficult to kill corruption in Nigerian leaders today. It will be difficult. Anybody who knows more than what I've said should suggest, please.
How to do it?
How to kill corruption in these governors already now here, these senators that we're having now, these leaders now. How to stop them from being corrupt. Maybe we can reduce the level of corruption.
But to eliminate it.
But we can produce children who from now henceforth will not accept corruption. We can produce children. And that comes by indoctrination. It's a form of education.
Yes.
Indoctrination is inculcating into children, when they are small minds, mentalities and values that look, I'll give you a story. Let me give you a story that will shock you. I had my member had accident in a road, Calabar Itu Road. And I went and investigated
what happened?
out of anger. Who did this kind of road years ago? It was his uncle that did that road years ago that got the contract. I don't want to mention names.
Yes.
Of that road. So
and now
he has died and gone. His grandchild or nephew is about to die on that road, which he enjoyed the money and did it at whatever quality he thought he could do it. Such stories should fly. Let contractors watch that video before you do any contract. That the money of the hospital you're about to do, which you have eaten, no problem, eat. But your great-grandchild may come to that hospital and there be no facility to treat. COVID-19 first wave taught us.
Yeah.
When we were asked not to travel out, our politicians were treated here. That's when government were rushing to buy equipment. In fact, schools and churches and mosques were used as isolation centers. So you see, we have to have a level of indoctrination. We have to teach people to understand that the bridge, you are eating the money. Your grandmother may pass there and get sunk. We have to teach people that the school we are eating the money from, that school may produce
The
next generation. So I'm not aware we can do anything now to stop any politician from stealing, but we can begin. Where is history in our schools? It's been removed. Where is civil studies? How do they used to call it?
Yes.
Civic studies.
Yes.
It's no more in our schools. We should bring back those things, and we should tell our children true story of the Civil War. Right now, we're hiding the fact about the Civil War. We are playing game with the story of the Civil War. In fact, we are telling the story in the eye of people who are not even Nigerians. But we should come out and tell Nigerians the correct story of the Civil War that took place in the 60s and early 70s, that will make either our children still want to fight another Civil War or don't want to fight another Civil War.
All right, quickly, Bishop Chima from Enugu. Let's just quickly take the question. It says, good day, Bishop. Good to see you and hear from you after so many years. Good to know that you are my in-law. You say you are his in-law. That's Chima.
Yes.
I am from Ikwere.
Yes. Oh my God, my wife was born there.
Okay, so many from according to the Bible, don't you think it is also affecting intra-tribal marriages in Nigeria? One of my aunties is married, Bubra, and she's, I don't know what
Bubra is in cross.
Yes, it is not common in Igbo land. Does that mean we read the Bible the wrong way or more or something?
Okay, no, I try to understand what Chima is saying.
Yes.
Chima, I believe intertribal marriage will help this nation. In fact, let me go extreme. I believe government should vote out some money and partly sponsor some people who are willing to take spouses from across Nigeria. It will reduce social tension and create tribal understanding. In my place, there are things you cannot do to in-laws. Many places. There are things you can't do to in-law. So, for instance, there are laws that we obey. You cannot harm your in-law. So, like Chima was saying, that the Bible, says we should marry from any tribe.
Yes.
But some traditions, I'm sure Chima knows what he's saying, has forbidden intertribal marriage. It's just like NYC, intertribal. In fact, if you check those who are married across rivers, across boundaries, they met during the NYC. If you check that very well, and many of us don't know, it will strengthen the unity of this country and help for national development. Intertribal marriages.
Okay, Chima, thank you very much. Bishop appreciated your question and your suggestion. Now let's move along with Chima. Now, so if we are promoting intertribal relationship, so why are we still therefore having so much tribal upheavals, especially when we have
because our
differences?
leadership is manned by those who are myopic in thinking, and they have a tribal bigotry mentality. We still have politicians from their speeches and body language who hate some tribe. Do you know that some Nigerian politicians hate some tribes? From their belly, they don't want to see
anybody from that tribe.
They don't want to see a Yoruba man. They don't want to see a Fulani man. Until you come close to these tribes and eat with them and stay with them.
Yes.
And that's why I recommend that most of our leaders should take a trip around the nation. Some leaders are not going around the nation. They're not going around the nation. I don't want to mention some former leaders who used to come to Ikotekpene, for instance, and stay the night. Not on official visits.
Yes, private, just to get familiar with.
What's wrong with a leader over the weekend deciding that I'm not going to my village this weekend? What we see in Nigerian television is always seeing leaders going to their village, Why not go to Yenogua? Spend 1 week. Stay with Yenogua people. Eat their fish and see their site. Go around. It will help you to understand better. We lack understanding, just like the word religious tolerance. I don't believe in the word tolerance. I've told people, let's use religious understanding, not tolerance. You know why? Because to tolerate me is even another insult. You're insulting me again. Okay, for instance, I tolerate you. So it's bad language on its own. The government must change that narrative we should not be talking about religious tolerance. We should talk about religious understanding. It is my I went with some 5 imams, and we were 5 pastors to Massachusetts in America.
Yes.
And we went for 2 weeks of studies on religious understanding. And we're taught by CIAs, Israeli Moffads, we're taught by detectives from the FIBs. There were lecturers in universities, some of them. And we sat down, imams and bishops. Imam Shefu is of Unity from Diversity here in Ikeja. If you watch this clip, he will tell you it's the truth. And we sat together with some Jews.
As humans.
As humans. And funny enough, the 3 religions of Judaism, Islamism, and Christianity are from one man, Abraham. They are children of one man.
Abrahamic, yes.
I believe Jesus Christ is Lord. I believe he's coming back again. I believe everyone should give their life to Christ. But that doesn't mean I will not allow a Muslim brother to come into my house during Ramadan to eat. You see, I don't shift my faith, and I don't shake my belief, and I don't need to change my belief because of my Muslim friend. But I believe he has right until he's convinced to my way.
Yes.
He has right
to hold on to
his belief until God or me or anybody convince him. And I don't believe I should kill a Christian who has become a Muslim. And I don't believe I should also stone a Muslim who has become a Christian, born again Christian, for instance. So we should remove that word tolerance and talk about religious understanding. It is lack of understanding of my Bible that makes you call me an infidel. Even when I just prayed to God this morning and received the blessing of God, you call me an infidel. There's something wrong with you. You lack understanding of God. And you even lack understanding of the Abrahamic covenant. Because the 3 major religions in the world came from Abraham. Yes, they came from Abraham, the father of our faith.
Yes.
So you can see that if people are well taught, and that reminds me, remember I said languages should be taught. I also believe that every Muslim child in Nigeria should be made to take a course on Bible knowledge. And the other way around. Vice versa. You don't have to believe what you read.
Yes.
When once you know what I believe, you will stop calling me an infidel. It is wrong indoctrination. Now let me tell you about Boko Haram. Boko Haram came into Nigeria many years ago, but as doctrine. This is what I'm trying to take you back to. It came to Nigeria many years ago. A certain Islamic scholar came into the north and stayed for years as an expatriate lecturer and began to develop teaching, and of that way, and then they began preaching. You know, Boko Haram were not bombing, and they were not killing, they were not beheading,
but they were talking
to people. Preaching. They were preaching in villages. They were doing crusades, and they took this evangelism in quote to villages, convincing even Muslims who were not on their way to believe what they said. At the end, it became a political platform in which our political leaders from the north bought into the idea that we could use these people and fulfill a certain agenda. It boomerang.
Yes.
And now, Christian, Muslim, whoever you are, we are suffering from what we know as a terrorist insurgent in the nation. So it began from indoctrination, wrong indoctrination, and preaching and wrong beliefs.
Okay, now but before we let you disappear from here, so how do we now look at how do we remedy, you know, where the nation is today now? Because over 60, a country that is over 60, and yet the records, all the global records, all the indices are not showing us to be on a rise, on a positive rise. Why? How do we remedy this very quickly? That should be a summary.
After 100 years of amalgamation and after 60
years of independence,
we are still thinking of integration. Then something is wrong. Because clay and iron don't mix.
Clay and iron don't mix.
Therefore, we must find a way that we think alike, which may be near impossible. Because when somebody's thinking is different from your thinking, nothing you can do on earth, because the heart of man is desperately wicked. But the suggestion I want to bring to fore right now is equal treatment
across,
even development across the nation. For instance, I'll give you, for instance, if you say there are 6 geopolitical zones, some geopolitical zones should not have 5 states and others 6 states. If you say Senate should be 3 per state, then some region should not have more numbers of senators and representatives than some region, making them perpetually minorities. And that gives birth to restiveness, to self-determination. And that gives birth to people, like I said, it is you hating me that makes me start hating you. Because
and these are the things we need to correct.
We need to correct that. We have to have even development. We have to spread out the development in education, the appointment, the development. We want this equality and justice in our social and political system. Everything balances itself, even without anybody coming to television station to say anything.
Very well, again, that's Bishop Isong for you. You can always be sure that anytime he comes in here, the takeaway is never enough.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so very much for coming again on the show. And for us on the Closed Flow, it's never over. So join all the conversation on our social media handles, social media platforms. If some of your questions were actually streamed and we did not get them here because of network, then go and put it on those social media handles. I'm sure Bishop Isong will still respond to those queries that you have raised. Thank you for watching. And until next week, it's bye for now.